This is Conversations at the Pro. Conversations with the creators that define the proletariat as a cultural hub. Today we talk to Sophia Longoria. Hi, this is Jim Bradden, and we're at the Proletariat, and we're talking to Sophia Longoria, who's the current exhibitor at the Proletariat Art Gallery.
Hi.
Let's get a little bit of your background. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. So mostly I come from a production background, starting in makeup and then CGI special effects.
Right.
And then was in California for most of my life, and then relocated back to Texas, Galveston, Texas, where I'm from.
Right. This is your home, then.
This is my home, yes. I started painting not too long after I got here, mostly in 2020. So it was maybe 5 years after I got here, I started picking up painting again.
So, and you had before?
I had been painting before. I've been painting throughout my entire life, just as a hobby.
A family of art?
Yeah, my mom was a painter, so.
So that's a recent foray into this then, relatively so.
It is. Bringing it out to the public and sharing my work was important due to an experience I had.
Right.
I came down with a debilitating mental illness, but also brain cancer, a few other life challenges that really put me through the ringer, but I came through it.
Yes.
And the first series that I made called Insights is about that journey.
Suppose we walk to the wall.
Okay.
And if we have a chance, we'll get an accompanying YouTube video up with this as well. Let's start chronologically at the beginning then,
The beginning is foreshadowing. And it's about my ancestors birthing trauma into generations to come. And then the next painting is me experiencing that trauma that was birthed into my generation. My mom experienced it, and then I experienced it as well. And next is Burning from the Inside, and that is the apex of that trauma. And it's just unyielding agony, basically. And from that is the Innocent Menace, which is an electrical cord. And it was the lowest point, which is at the bottom of the display, because it was, the lowest point was, wanting to not be here anymore, not wanting to live anymore. And the next one is...
Wait, back up on the electrical cords. That challenged me initially when I saw it. I was trying to see how it fit in with the rest of the sequence.
A lot of times people don't find the place in this exhibit, and that's because it's the Innocent Menace. It's an abstract object, right? But it was so menacing to me because it was like this was the way I was going to die.
Right.
And so, but I survived that challenge.
I can understand.
So, and next is like an angel-like figure that's supposed to be enveloping me after that challenge. And together we are trying to just slough off all of the pain I'm experiencing. And it just took so long to go through that. And it was called How Long Have I Been Here?
We're just talking about how long it took you to get through it, and that's chronicled here then?
It is, yeah. So after the Innocent Menace, the image of the electric cord is this picture of this seemingly demonic angel, but it's not. It's this angel enveloping me, going through so much pain, and it's helping me, trying to slough off, which is why the skin looks like it's kind of falling off, and because we're just sloughing off all of this agony, basically, and
let's move on down
all
here.
Right, so we got through that with the help of one giant pill. And it's a giant pill because it's one giant pill to be ill. It's one giant pill to be well. It's one giant pill to take the medicine you need. It's one giant pill to get the medicine you need. There's many parallels for one giant pill.
Well, you just answered two of my questions.
Okay.
The electrical cord.
Yeah.
And the giant pill.
Yes.
So that takes us to the end almost to the end of this wall then.
Almost. So this is lead with what you have left. And, there's a lot of shame in the experience of mental illness currently in this day and time and the past. And so you take off the mask, and though you're vibrating with shame, you still have enough strength to lead.
I'm just going to let that sink in for a little while because it's very, very profound and very, very true.
And so the last part of this group is my self-portrait currently, and it's just like being positive and being well and trying to help other people through those dark times, and knowing that, just saying that it is possible to be well after something extraordinarily and intensely difficult and painful.
It just says that.
Yeah.
And I like the tying the chords or whatever.
This center part in here, this group of works is called Red Beds, a tour of the sleeping subconscious, which of course the subconscious is never sleeping. That's why it's in quotes. And what I saw and the inspiration for this, and really the experience I was having, was basically my subconscious and all the facets of my subconscious having their moment, whatever that is, constantly.
Right,
and so I'm just combing through my mind. This is me, a human with open mind. So I was just combing through my mind, trying to understand everything I was experiencing and feeling, and what the origin of those thoughts and emotions and feelings and behaviors and patterns, everything, how that all starts, and understanding it so I could understand myself better and my experiences.
Your final portrait up at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Illumination on the forehead.
Mm-hmm.
Third eye, brain, what is it?
Sure. I mean, I think it's enlightenment, and you're becoming an even more conscious person, more conscious and aware of all that there is and all that you're a part of and all that you're surrounded by and all that you're made of and what makes you you. And you are not even aware of it. There's so many facets that we collect before birth that come through the bloodline, that help you make your opinions, your behaviors, your relationships, where you are today, your career, everything. And not everyone is totally aware of what makes them them.
That's just stunning. Your observations, your self-observations, and your macro observations as well.
It took a long time to process everything I was experiencing, and really being open, put your ego down.
Right.
Have some humility, be open to understanding, be open to possibility.
Yeah.
And those are key. And humor. Humor was really key.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And there is an element of humor.
Mm-hmm. Dark.
Sometimes camouflage. But
Yeah.
There is an element of humor in most of your pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we have more walls, so let's wander. And we have a three-dimensional piece.
Yeah, this three-dimensional piece is called Mummified by My Own Words version 1, because I want to do this one is about 3 feet. It's a little mummy.
Right.
And it's coated in layers of text, strips of paper and layers of text.
I had no idea.
And this text are emails, like layers and layers of so many emails that I sent out while I was experiencing breakdowns.
Oh my.
And so it was like something that caused me the most shame was that I would have been more filtered in my communication, but I had no filters at that time. So I said all these things, and
so here they are encapsulated?
And here they are encapsulated. And there's a sound file that goes with it, a soundscape that my friend Jody Etchgary made for me. Sounds good on a good speaker.
Capabilities. I think all of those of human beings, I hope. I am so very concerned about my brothers, my dad, and Obi, then of course everyone else. Check this out, Mr. VS and folks. Here's some links. You see this? On the page here, Apocalypse, which is Junior Broke. Then Vortex, which is real funky in the face, which gets diggers through the cracks and rainy sand. That's possible. Sophia.
So on the side of it is a bunch of black goo oozing out of the side, and it's just like, incredible suffering and pain oozing out.
It's hard to find the humor in this one.
Yeah, but it was probably the most cathartic piece, because that caused the most shame, was that I was so unfiltered in written word, and I couldn't take that back. Well, most of my things I couldn't take back.
Right, no, but this in particular.
Yeah, but I was just like, I'm just going to put it out there and not be ashamed, because I was compromised, and pretty much everyone has forgiven me, because I wouldn't have made that choice, if I wasn't compromised.
Understood.
So.
And what a nice array of friends and associates you have.
I feel very grateful.
Understand that.
Mm-hmm, absolutely.
From a purely pragmatic viewpoint on this,
mm-hmm.
if this is a series of emails,
mm-hmm.
I'm. How narrow are the strips? How complex was the composition? Was the construction of this piece?
Well,
I'm not quite following. If
so the base is made from chicken wire,
right,
and then I coated it in foil, and then I coated it in muslin, and then I coated it in layers of the emails. So there's strips that are cut out and then layered onto the, like you would a bandage, basically. That was the idea.
Right. Okay. Wow.
And to be honest with you, they're layered in that way because that's how I was experiencing them. You know, what my thoughts and how I was experiencing my thoughts were
Right.
layered and voluminous and grouped or singular. And so that's why they look
Got
that
it.
way.
Smaller pieces.
Smaller pieces. So these, I was really intrigued by the wood that I found while I was in a shop with my husband, and I was drawn to them. I picked them up, and I knew there was something that I wanted to do called Disembodied Souls. And this was an experience I had while I was going through my journey of like deterioration, ultimately wellness. And one of the things I questioned was the relationship with my mom's mom, my grandma,
Right.
who was a root cause for the trauma.
Right.
And I asked myself if she was in a place, a hellish environment, would I forgive her and transfer her to a more forgiving place and harmonious place? And it was very difficult, but the truth is that I would do that. And this is a woman who said, I did the things I did because I enjoyed doing them. So that's hard to get over. But I did get over it, and I did forgive her because it's all about context. You know, people's experiences are all about, and their actions are all about where they came from, what led them up to this point. And I knew it couldn't have been pleasant for her. So I forgave her.
You're much more forgiving than most of us would be.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to make myself twisted and ill inside from her words, you know.
Understood.
She went that way because she was drawn to and driven to do that. But I don't need to keep that in and cause a disharmony within myself, you know. So all of these are about people or, you know, ultimately souls that are in a tumultuous or torturous, lonely experience that are traveling to a better place.
This is not unlike some of the classic descriptions of purgatory or hell.
Yeah, exactly. This one is about my grandma. It's called From Hell.
Yeah, no.
So, and I went a little bit more loose with those images in this one because of a painting that was in her house at the time. And it was like just impressions of shapes that alluded to a character you make up ultimately.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Your revelations are stunning. So let us move on to the window now.
Yeah, the window is a collection of shirts and some giclées that I made because the paintings are of these guys. If they are for sale, then it's because they come with a frame. The originals come with a frame that are handmade from oak and ash,
Yes.
and then ebonized. So it's that frame is an expensive frame,
Yes.
you know, and then the time and the experience and the skill that you put into your work is hard to define anyway.
It is.
So
It's very hard to assign a value to it.
yeah. But I did what I did make that price ultimately, or because that's what I was willing to part with.
Yeah.
You know, and that's hard. That's a hard
That's
thing
a
to
shared
do.
value.
Yeah. So
And so you have options.
options for people who like maybe don't want to spend that much money on
Yes.
a original, but do want that image. So a giclée is the perfect opportunity for them to have that with them.
You'll be at the Proletariat on 23rd and Market for how long?
Until November 20th, and then I'm having an artist talk on the 10th. But I did want to say something about
please.
the t-shirts. So those are all the facets in the Red Bed series, the facets of the subconscious. And so, in my opinion, it's the image that came to me. So there's 4 of those, and it says part monster on it. And that doesn't mean that you yourself are a whole incredibly evil person. When you say you're part monster, you're being more realistic. Like,
Right.
a fraction of yourself is not like always joyful. You're not perfect. And it's just like admitting to the fact that you are part monster and like feeling comfortable with that.
So the T-shirts are certainly available for sale.
The T-shirts are available for sale. They are.
So your time here in the gallery, for some of the other items, you have an active website then, right?
I do have an active website. It's seriesofdots@at.com.
One more time.
Series of dots and that's spelled out, at.com.
Okay. It's been a pleasure speaking with you today,
Thank
and
you, Jim.
thanks for taking the time.
Absolutely.
Sophia Longoria, here at the Proletariat.
All right, thank you.
This has been a conversation with Sophia Longoria. A conversation at the Pro. A conversation with the creators that define the proletariat as a cultural hub.